Welcome, everyone, to Wager Talk Extra. I am Andy Lang, joined by Nick Borrman. We are here to break down the iconic John Deere Classic. Those of you longtime golf fans may know this as the Steve Stricker Open. Nick, this used to be the one where Steve Stricker would always play and go 23 under and win by 5 or 6 shots. Myself and Nick, you can find us on wagertalk.com. We both have plays up for the John Deere Classic. Nick, as always, we like to start off here with your chart of total strokes gained. It's been a really nice source of outright winners. So, if we want to take a look at this chart, walk us through us. Tell. It's a strange field. There's a lot of names on here that are not you're not accustomed to seeing at the front. So, break down this chart. What do you take away from it? Walk us through it.
Yeah, this is the top 10 strokes gained or ranked by or ordered by rather the last 12 months. So a guy like Cameron Young, who sits at the top, has the best body of work over a 12-month span. But as you can see, Andy, we have it broken down by 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, so you can see trends, long-term and short-term. And Cam Young maybe the best over 12 months, but clearly not the best in the shorter term over the last 6, or definitely over the last 3 months where he's been struggling. So yeah, this has produced 19 of 34 tour winners this season. That's 56% have been ranked inside this top 10 over the last 12 months, including our buddy Ricky last week. So it is a great source. And again, I like to kind of combine this, start here to look at outrights and combine this with which trend looks good as well. Because Russell Henley, second on the list in 12 months, but look at that trend, clearly head and shoulders above everybody else right now, as well as Denny McCarthy. And there's a reason you're seeing them as two of the favorites this week, because not only are they playing well over a long time, they're playing well in the short period as well. But you're right. I mean, you got guys like Taylor Moore, Matt Kuchar, JT Poston, who is the defending champion, but he's been playing pretty terribly. Steven Yeager and Patrick Rogers, who I don't think I've ever bet on once because he will never ever close the door and win a golf tournament. But this is our list. And then I always, as I did last week, I threw in the young Swedish boy Ludvig Aberg, who was great last week through 2 rounds, then kind of fell apart and is being priced. Andy, well, I'll let you talk about him later, but being priced as one of the favorites this week, which is kind of a laughing stock. But we'll get into that later. But this is the top 10 strokes gained, and you'd be a fool not to start looking at your outright plays here on this list.
Yeah, when we have these strange tournaments with these weak fields, if you play in a seasonal fantasy league, it's like this is the weeks it comes down to. Like, can you pick the outright winner in something like this? So
Yeah.
we'll walk through some players that we like and that we don't like. As always, I like to do a little bit of a course preview here. Congratulations to the John Deere. They do a fantastic job of doing the flyover so you can see each hole really well. I have a bone to pick with whoever picked the depressing piano music to go in the background of that video. But if you want to look it up, it's very easy to find on Google. Just put it on mute and you can see all the holes. There's a few holes that I like to highlight. Hole 2, 551-yard par 5. It's like an L-shaped fairway. So you have to avoid all those bunkers that are there on the left and the right side off the tee shot. If you hit a fairway, really, really easy approach shot. However, if we take a look at the second picture here, you can see that there's water and a bunker short and left of the green, bunkers on the right, and the fairway really tightens. I think it kind of takes away running the ball up onto the green. That would be a really tough one. So you do have to hit the fairway to make this a birdie hole. It's an easy hole if you do hit the fairway. I think the winner's got to play this -3 or better to contend this week. We'll jump ahead to the 14th hole. I love par 4s that are short. Really speaks to the player's strategy. I like watching them. 357-yard par 4. It's a bit downhill from the tee, so the longest players may give it a shot, especially someone like Cameron Young. I think he can easily attack this off the tee. If you try and lay up off the tee, there are bunkers to the left and to the right. So it's a I think you're going to see guys kind of do like a half layup where they may not take driver, but I think they may take 3-wood or really long iron, kind of get themselves in that 60 to 70 yard. But someone like Cameron Young may try and bomb it up there. It's going to be fun. You're going to see some awesome tee shots. If they do hit the green, you may have an eagle look. So fun hole. That's hole 14. And then the final hole, the 18th hole, it's 463-yard par four. Got to be accurate off the tee. If you miss left, you can be in a bunker, which means you have to fly it directly over the water to hit the green from sand. That is dangerous. If you miss right, easily you could be blocked by some trees, which means you may have to punch out. And if we want to take a look at the second picture of this hole, you can kind of see here. So if you get off to the right in those trees, you may have to just punch out. But with that downhill, the ball can easily roll across the fairway. That water is in play. And if you look to the left, that big bunker there, you do not want to have to try and fly over the water. If you catch it fat, you're going to be inside the water. So you got to hit the fairway. If you do, easy approach for a birdie look. If you miss the fairway, you're bringing bogey or worse into play. So if you get a couple guys tied for the lead coming into this 18th hole, this could be really fun as the nerves could pop up. So those are a couple holes that I think might be fun to monitor. So all right, let's talk an outright winner, Nick. We said some of these winners can be very random at these tournaments with these odd fields. But you have a guy you're dialed in, top of the leaderboard. Who do you like this week outright?
Yeah, I mean it's not a sexy price on a guy like Denny McCarthy, who would probably normally be priced in the 50 to 1 or higher range at a standard event, but he is, in my opinion, should be one of the favorites going into this week, just because that strokes gain graphic shows how well he's been playing over the short term as well. He's not won yet, Andy. All right, so that's the one knock on him right now. But this venue has produced 5 first-time winners in the last 11 editions of the tournament, so there's a good chance that this could happen here. McCarthy has finished inside the top 20 in 10 of his last 15 starts, including 4 top 10s, and he had a runner-up at the Memorial, so very close there. He's gained strokes putting, Andy, in 8 straight starts for a combined nearly 32 strokes gained over just his last 6. The guy can roll the rock, and what we both expect, and everybody expects, this to be just like the last 2 weeks, where it's basically a putting contest. The winner in the mid 20s, you're going to have to make a lot of birdies. McCarthy can make a lot of birdies. So I like that fact. He's not long, but he's very accurate off the tee. His approach play has also been very solid. He's gained 9 strokes on approach over just his last 3 starts. And I mentioned about his putting. He's fourth best putter on tour this season, but another number I like even better is he's first putting inside of 10 feet. So if he can get that ball close, he should be rolling in a lot of those. And then finally, he's got a good mojo here. He finished tied for 6th last year at this event, Andy. So he's obviously got a little bit of history on this place as well. So not a good number, 16-1. It's really not sexy, but I think McCarthy at least is going to be near the top of that leaderboard on Sunday. And if nothing else, back him up with like a top 10, and you should be able to at least cover your outright this week.
Love it. Yeah, you don't need to be that long on this course. We saw it last week. Yeah, you don't need to bomb the ball every hole. Just get those irons dialed in, have a hot putter, and you're going to be up there near the top. Let's take a look at players that can trip you up. These are players that I think people may be betting on or maybe putting in their DFS lineups that I am a little concerned about. And we will start with the young phenom, I guess, Ludwig Aberg. My gosh, he jumps all the way up to a top 3 price guy to win. Listen, Nick, I'm a fan of him. I was stunned. You said it was laughable. I agree, it's laughable. He's a great young player, but he can't putt. No way he should be a top 3 price player. Last 30 days, he's minus 0.27 strokes gained putting and minus 0.58 approach. His biggest strength is he drives the ball long and straight, but from there to the green, he really struggles. And on an easy course where you're irons and you got to have a hot putter, I don't think his game fits this course at all. Got off to a great start last week on an easy course, melted down on the weekend, finished tied for 40th. I love his talent, but this jump in price is ridiculous. He would have to finish top 5 to return any value. No way I'm betting on a guy who struggles with his irons and putters to be top 5 at this course. Up next, Cameron Young. Having Cameron Young as a top 5 guy, I think that's a massive mistake in terms of price to win. Last 30 days, he's minus 0.60 strokes gained putting, drives the ball far, but even then, it's not that accurate. You're going to get away with it on this course. Most holes do not have very punishing rough if you miss the fairway. But this is going to be a birdie fest. You have to putt the ball, and you have to put the ball in the fairway. And those are 2 things that Cameron Young just is not good at. He needs a top 5 finish to return value. I don't see it at all. His best finish the last 3 months is 32nd, so he would need a huge jump. I don't think his game fits this course, so he's a guy I'm going to avoid. And finally, JT Poston. He won here last year. Man, that sure looks like the outlier. The 4 previous years, he finished miscut, 65th, 64th. He's missed the cut in 5 out of 7 tournaments this year. He has 1 finish inside the top 20 in regular tournaments this year. I think people are just going to look at him and go, oh, he won last year. But I don't think the postman's going to be delivering, Nick. I think the win last year was very, very much an outlier. So those are players that can trip you up. Nick, let's talk about a player you like. Probably is a top 20, but we're going to sprinkle him on the top 10 and the top 20 as well. What player jumps off the page for you?
Yeah, I'm looking at a guy that actually just recently won. That's Emiliano Grillo. His prices right now are very, very attractive. Top 10, you're getting nearly 4-1, plus 370. I mean, even the worst books are like plus 320. And then top 20 is plus 190 over at FanDuel. So he's only played this event once, but it was a good one. It was last year. He finished joint runner up, and he combines that with good form coming into this week. He has 5 finishes inside the top 23 in his last 8 starts, including 3 top 10s. Of course, I mentioned the win that was at the Charles Schwab Challenge. He's gained strokes on approach in 6 of his last 8 starts. The only 2 events he failed to do so were the 2 majors, the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship. So clearly this is not a major field nor a major type of a setup, so I'm not too worried about that. In his 6 other most recent tour starts, he's gained a total of over 33 strokes, Andy, on approach for an average of 5.5 per start. So this guy is flushing his irons, which should give him plenty of chances where on a course we both agree, again, you're going to have to make a lot of birdies. Like McCarthy, Grillo isn't long, but he's accurate. And based on total distance at TPC Deere Run, that should leave him in the 150 to 175 yard approach range very often, which has proven to be kind of his sweet spot. He ranks 10th in proximity from that range on tour this year. So he's playing well. Only played this event once, but he was darn good. He almost won the thing. I like Grillo this week to be in contention again. Feel free to throw some on the outright if you want, but I really like him to be a top 10 or a top 20 this week, Andy.
Yeah, great prices on that. Real quick, Nick, tell everyone what you have up for this week and where we can find you at.
Yes, sir. So have this week's John Deere Classic tournament pack up and available right now. It's just $19. Includes all my outright and leaderboard plays. We've hit 8 outright plays and overall up 50 units this season, which goes back to September. So number 1 in that category. So hopefully we can continue to roll. And then, of course, we have the major coming up in just a couple weeks' time. And then we also have soccer going on right now. It's quiet this today, but tomorrow and over you get to the weekend, we have MLS, which number 1 again this season. And of course, Andy, you're in on this as well. But daily Wimbledon plays are up for the All England tournament, which is going on for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, right now, some players in Wimbledon are playing their second match while others haven't even completed their first. So that lets you know what the weather delay is like in Wimbledon. Great work on the 8 outright winners, Nick. Very, very impressive. I'm going to jump to DraftKings Darlings here. If you want, we have our article, our free download up on my profile page on WagerTalk.com. It gives you other stats. It also gives you my full DraftKings list as well as the course preview. So we'll start with my first favorite one, Peter Malnati, 6,900. Listen, his approach numbers are not very good. That's what scares me. But at 6,900, I'm going to roll with him. Plus 0.81 total strokes gained the last 30 days. This is not a difficult course. He finished 9th last week, which was an easy course. He's made the cut 3 years in a row here. He finished 30th last year. If I can get a 30th place finish out of Peter Malnati, where he gets me weekend points, 6,900 is going to turn out to be a bargain. So I will roll the dice with Peter Malnati. Justin Lauer, 7,000. He's made the cut 4 out of 6 tourneys, but I love that he finished 8th last week on that easy course. Might be similar to this one. It's plus 0.94 strokes gained putting the last 30 days. And putting well, that is the name of the game for scoring DFS points this week. I think the greens are easy to hit. I love him at 7,000. And then Callum Tarrant, 7,300. His putting numbers the last 30 days are awful. And yet somehow he's finished 43rd, 33rd, and 29th the last 3 weeks. So why did I just talk about having a hot putter, but then I'm going to put this guy in my lineup? Well, he finished 6th here last year, and last year at this course, plus 0.99 strokes gained putting. That was his only time playing here. I'm going to roll the dice that maybe he just has some magic with this course. Maybe this is what the doctor ordered to cure his putting woes. So we'll go with Malnati, Lauer, and Taryn. And if you want to see the rest of the lineup, just download the PDF there on WagerTalk.com. Nick, you mentioned that we got a major coming up here. I mean, it's a pretty good time of year for golf because we hit the major and then we hit the championship, the championship stretch to crown the FedEx winner. I don't know. A lot of these big name guys we may not see until the major. How do we kind of get ready for what we got upcoming in golf? Are we looking at some of these players that may kind of move up the rankings because they get their chance with some of these big names out? How do we approach the summer as we lead into the final stretch of the season?
Well, it's you got a couple opportunities for those lower placed, I guess, players is the best way to put that, because during the Open you also have the alternate field event. I forget what it is, Barbasol maybe. So
Yes.
they'll have opportunities to gain points while everybody's at the Open Championship. But I do expect a lot of big name players playing next week at the Scottish Genesis Open as a tune-up for the Open Championship, because they've had now the last 2 weeks off. So I think they'll probably tee it up next week and then again at the Open. And then, of course, you have the Wyndham, I think, and there's maybe one other one in there. 3M? There, no, maybe I forget. There's two more before the FedEx Cup. So that's the run where everybody ranked 150th, and we'll hear the storyline again and again and again. Oh, this guy's ranked 136. He's going to win this week because he has to get into the FedEx Cup playoff. So why wouldn't he do it now?
That's my favorite. It's like, well, he could have won, earlier in the year. That way, he wouldn't have to wait until the Wyndham tournament 2 weeks before the FedEx Cup. So, let's say I got a little bit. I have a little free play. I gotta say, man, I really like some of these younger golfers that are coming up. We talk about Ludwig Albert, Eric Cole. I think he's
Mhm.
been my favorite DFS play this week, and I really like it's a little bit juicy, but Nick, I'm going to sprinkle him top 40. It's minus 175, but I think putting a unit or two on this one, this guy's finished the top 40 pretty easily. 24th, 39th, 6th, 24th. He did have a miscut, but then 15th and 23rd. He did not play this tournament last year, but he's 4th in total strokes gained um, over the last 30 days. So this guy, Eric Cole, man, I think he's undervalued, and I think they bumped him up price this week on the outright winner, but I think we're getting a little value despite it being a little bit juicy. But Nick, I'm pretty excited about a lot of these young guys coming up. I think we got a really, really good crop of guys coming out of college and some guys coming off the Corn Ferry. So it's exciting to see some of these younger guys compete with some of the older guys. So thanks everyone for joining us on Wager Talk Extra. That is Nick Borrman from WagerTalk.com. All of his plays could be found there. Grab his golf, grab his soccer. He's having an absolutely fantastic year. 8 outright winners on the PGA Tour this season. I'm Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. You can grab all my golf plays up at WagerTalk.com as well. Thanks everyone for joining us. Let's have another profitable week, and we'll see everyone next week on Wager Talk Extra.